Okay, so this is the day 20 review. Um, Last night we stayed at the Elkhorn Hot Springs in Montana, and the hot springs were very nice. The pool was very nice. Didn't get a meal. They did have pizza by the slice. I didn't wind up eating any of that. The kids did. I wound up having 2 Snicker bars and 2 Gatorades for dinner. Yay. Well, it got us through the night, and it was a pretty chilly night. I mean, we all had the hand warmers going full blast in our sleeping bags and everything, but slept pretty good. Got up this morning, got out about, I don't know, 9 o'clock or so, 8:30, 9 o'clock. Hopped on, I can't remember what highway it is. Let me see here on the GPS. It runs north from the campsite towards a town called Wise Creek. We were already a little bit concerned about gas because we all had about 50, 60 mile range left. But we got on let's see what highway that is. Pioneer Mountain Scenic Byway, basically. I think it has a number. I can't remember what it is. But anyway, it's a really cool, once you go past Elkhorn Lodge, it's all these 25-mile-an-hour corners, 20-mile-an-hour corners going up through the mountain, going over the pass. And the road's in really good condition, but you got to watch for cow pies. There's some open range areas, and you don't want you come around the corner, all of a sudden you're like, wow, there's a big fresh cow pie right in the middle of the road. That could get interesting. I had one of them that made me kind of go offline a little bit, but not a problem because I was watching for it. And then we dropped down into this valley, and there were quite a few cows just standing around the road. So we kind of had to get up next to them and do some zipping and zooming on the engines to get them to run out of the way and get around them. That wasn't really a big deal. And then we got to another spot where there were cows in the road. They wouldn't get out of the way. There were quite a few. So we're just kind of creeping in first gear. Big old trucks come blasting up from behind us, just go into the left lane and just power right through them all without any regard to how the cows are going to react, with us still sitting there and getting run over by a cow that's panicking or freaking out or whatever. And 2 of these trucks did this. I guess they're locals, and normally they wouldn't care about cows in the road, or they got big bumpers so they can push them out of the way. But yeah, that was a little annoying. But most of the people up here have been very nice. I mean, we've had a lot of people when we're on the dirt roads who pull over for us and let us go by, or if they see us coming, they'll pull over and let us go by, and then they'll continue on their way, which is kind of nice because Sarah gets, when you're on a narrow dirt road, Sarah gets kind of nervous about them. Daniel just rips on by, doesn't even give it a second thought mostly. But we were running low on gas, and we got to a little town called Wise River that's on Montana 43, and pretty much it's the only game in town is this little mercantile store that was really cool. It had the old style pump, with the nozzle and the side of the pump. You pull it out, flip the lever down, the numbers from the previous sale roll back to 0, and the numbers sit there and spin while you're pumping gas. I mean, that's kind of stuff that was, when I was a kid, that's what they were all like, and you pump first, pay second. Now, what was funny is, on the back side of the pump, where you couldn't fit a bike or a vehicle, they had a little outdoor security camera pointed at the back side of the pump because it showed the same information on the back side of the pump, and that fed to a camera or a screen on the inside of the store so that they could see how much gas you got, because apparently they had a few people that were coming in and saying they got 5 gallons instead of 10, and that kind of stuff. But it didn't show the price. So I went in and just said, look, we got 11 gallons. Well, it was $55 for 87 octane. Our bikes are all supposed to be running on 89, but at this point, it's kind of like, it'll burn it, it'll run, it'll be fine. So we filled up. They ran great. Didn't have any issues. Getting really good gas mileage up here compared to what, back in Texas. Daniel's been hitting like 70. I think Sarah's been hitting 70 something. I'm getting like 43, 44 on my GS instead of like 39 or something. But anyway, we took off out of there on 43, and we went northwest, and picked up this road that took us up to Anaconda. I want to say it was 5 something, 549. Yeah, I can't find the number now, but so anyway, it just took us to this little town, Anaconda, which is like a copper mining town, which is pretty cool. And on the GPS match, it even has a marker for the Anaconda smokestack from the old smelting system that they used to use. I mean, and you can see this thing forever before you come into town. It's up on a mountain, really big around, really tall. I couldn't figure out what it was for a long time because there was nothing else around it. And stopped a guy at a gas station in town when we stopped to go to the restroom, and he's like, "Oh yeah, that's the old smelting tower from when they used to do stuff the old way. Now they do it different. I don't know how." But took off out of there. I want to say it was Highway 4 or something like that. Basically, it took us over to Phillipsburg. It was a real nice ride. I mean, it was real pretty. Went by some lakes and stuff. Had some really cool, like, canyons and stuff. I got some video of that. Some steep coming down, come around a corner and you got these epic views that just pop open all of a sudden. Got into Phillipsburg, telling the kids about the road from hell, or Devil's Road, or whatever it's called, that Roger and I got into last, I don't know, it was in 2013 or 2017 when we were up here and we were on the KTMs, and that road was brutal. Broke my bike on that road, had to get the kickstand welded. It was one of those roads that we were like, oh my God, if we ever get out of here, we'll be glad we survived. And we finally did, and it was rough. But anyway, went past there, headed west out of Phillipsburg, and I want to say, let's see, what is that? 872 Marshall Creek Road. Real fun road, but boy, it got really bumpy. The quality of the pavement was just horrible from the freezing and the snow. And loser. Sorry. Photo bomber. Anyway, yeah, it was tough to even go the posted speed limit, especially in some of the corners, because it was just so rough. It was throwing us everywhere from the frost heave. Eventually, that turns into dirt, and it's a road that Roger and I did years ago. I can't figure out what it's called. Upper Rock Creek Road in one place, and then North Rock Creek Road. See, it looks like Rock Creek Road for most of the way. Pretty long. Yeah, I mean, it maybe took us a few hours. Eventually, it drops out on, what is that, I-90, near a little town called Clinton. And it's just a really fun ride. I mean, road conditions went from perfect to potholes that were shaking your teeth out and making you think your bike was going to come apart. There was one section where it got pretty narrow, and it started climbing and getting kind of rough, and Sarah's getting kind of stressed, but, I followed her up. She did really good. She stayed on the gas. There was a couple spots that got pretty rough. She stayed on her line, let the bike chug through the rocks and let the suspension do their job. And then right when you get to the summit, it's a sharp 180-degree U-turn, and the area where you're trying to make the U-turn is on a bad slope. And it's, she couldn't quite make her mind make that tight a turn. So I pulled up next to her and we stopped, and I kind of did a 3 or 4 point turn to get my bike pointed the right direction to start downhill. And then Daniel helped her get her bike turned so that she could start downhill. So it wasn't a long drop. I mean, there was 4 or 5 corners, maybe a couple, 200 or 300 yards, and then it leveled out. And there's a big 18-wheeler water truck sitting down at the bottom for like firefighting. And there has been some firefighting in the area, some fire camps and stuff. So I got set up and waited for Sarah and Daniel to come down, shot some video of them coming down that. Kind of rough, but not horrible. But, when you're a new rider, I would have been scared. Back in the day when I first started riding on dirt, that road would have got my attention. So anyway, once we got past all that, the road just starts following this river. And it's just really beautiful. I mean, there's fly fishermen all over the place. So there is a lot of traffic on the road. At one point, it got really, just the potholes were unreal. You could hardly dodge them. The big holes that were full of water, that were just giant mud puddles, were actually nice and smooth compared to the potholes that were really rough. So we eventually got through all that, and we hit I-90. And I had originally planned to cut through the mountains over towards Lolo, but we were tired. We were hungry. It was like just all of a sudden, riding along. It's like, fine, I'm fine, I'm fine. Oh my God, I'm starving to death. Very annoying. So we just stayed on the freeway and ran into Missoula. The kids saw a sign for Cracker Barrel, so we got off on that exit, and there happened to be a Best Western there. So pulled in there to get a room, and walked in and said, okay, I want a double queen, thinking it's going to be $120 a night like we've been paying in a lot of places. $280. It's like, what in the world? The guy's like, oh, well, tonight's the first, or tomorrow night, it's the first game of the season for whatever the local university is. I don't know what they are. So everybody's in town. All the rest, the hotels are booked. They're all super expensive, and it's going to get even more expensive tomorrow night. So, yeah, it was either that or we drive 30 miles south of town to a Days Inn of unknown quality and still spend over $200 a night for a double queen. So finally, I've stayed in Best Western enough. I've got some, I don't know, like a gold level something. I don't know. That got me like $50 off the room or something. So we got it down to a little more reasonable. And it is a very nice hotel. Cracker Barrel's right across the street, so we could walk across and get dinner. Motorcycle dealership, Triumph, Yamaha, and all that stuff, literally right on the other side of the freeway. I was looking to try to buy some communicators. We've really had problems with the communicators the last few days. Not staying charged, not staying on, not communicating, horrible static noises, just all kinds of problems. All they have is the Cardo Freecom 4X or something like that, which doesn't have much range. You can only do 4 people max. Doesn't have a longer warranty. Doesn't have the mesh technology. I mean, there's quite a bit of difference. And the PackTalk Edge is the one I want. No one seems to have that. I mean, there's like 5 dealerships here in town, and nobody has them. The KTM dealership in Boise had them. I should have bought them at the time when we were picking up the kids' bikes. But, I just spent all that money getting the bikes fixed, and I didn't want to turn around and spend all that money to get communicators. Well, now I'm kind of kicking myself in the butt. So I thought, okay, I'll go on Amazon. I will buy them there, have them shipped to this hotel. We'll do the ride from Lolo down to Cusia or whatever the town is on the highway that everybody says you got to do. Spend the night down there, come back, and then hopefully the communicators will be here by then. And the hotel said I could have them shipped here, and they'd hold them for me. I thought, great. So I get on Amazon, find them, Amazon Prime, order in 40 minutes. You can have them by Sunday. I'm thinking, sweet. But then I put in the hotel address instead of our home address in Texas. And all of a sudden, it's Friday, September 8th. And it's like, well, that just sucks, because that's not going to get it done. So, I'm thinking what we may have to do is just press on with the communicators we have until we can find something better. I don't know if we can find a dealership that has them. I really don't want to go back to Boise because we're finally making our way north and making decent progress. We even camped 2 nights in a row finally, even though it got really cold. So we'll see. I'm not real sure what we're going to do now. I'm getting ready to start sitting down and going over routes, and it's at the point now where the routes I created early on, we've had so many delays and so many problems that I'm going to have to start tweaking those routes. And earlier today, Daniel and Sarah pulled over waiting for me after I stopped to take some pictures. And I think Daniel was taking a nature break or something. I don't know. But anyway, he went to turn around his bike and hit a rock with the front tire and fell over, and same rock bashed his exhaust pipe. Disconnected the pipe from the bottom of the resonator on the bottom of the engine, where the pipe slips over, and bent the bracket where it mounts at the foot peg. So now he was excited because it sounds really cool now when he revved the engine up. It's much better sounding. But anyway, when he finally caught up to me, because I'd passed them and I was stopping to wait and take pictures of them, and they finally came back and told me what happened. We had to do some roadside repairs and bend some stuff back and get it reinstalled so that it sounds like a KTM 390 again. He's not happy about that, but we don't want the engine running wrong because it's a fuel injected system, and I don't know. It may run fine without the exhaust. It's just loud and wouldn't pass inspection. But so anyway, we might have to see if we can find a part for that, but that's not critical. So yeah, just all in all, it was a really good day of riding, both the pavement and the dirt. The dirt in particular, even Sarah said that was a really cool road, a lot of fun, and we really enjoyed it. So now we're in Missoula in an overpriced hotel, but we're well fed. So we'll see what we can do tomorrow. That's all for now. Bye.